Episode 11 of Dr. Slump begins with Hanol and Jong-woo dating again. Jong-woo tells Hanol that he is moving back to the rooftop and makes her promise not to say "let's end it here" since she broke up with him by saying this phrase. They change each other's nicknames as girlfriend and boyfriend. Back home, Hanol is in a good mood and her family senses it. She goes to her room after she receives a call from Jong-woo and they decide to meet for a midnight snack. Hanol is supposed to bring spring onion kimchi, and while she is sneakily stealing some from the kitchen, her mother spots her. Hanol lies about reading dissertations while having kimchi and is able to successfully take the kimchi to the rooftop. As Jong-woo and Hanol enjoy their late-night snack, they agree to keep their relationship a secret at their workplace. Jong-woo invites Hanol to lie beside him and they end up sleeping beside each other. Hilariously, the next day Wool-seon happens to see Jong-woo in bed with a woman and interprets that he has already moved on. The hidden Hanol makes Jong-woo hide the fact that it's her, out of sheer embarrassment. Later, Wool-seon, still thinking that Jong-woo wronged Hanol, gives Jong-woo a tough time while he is leaving for work. Hanol sees this but hides inside her house. Elsewhere, Hong-ran's son leaves for his grandmother's house and gives her a drawing that he made for Dae-young. Hong-ran meets Dae-young at the rooftop of their workplace and gives him macarons for his daughter, explaining that teenagers prefer aesthetically pleasing snacks. At the clinic, Jong-woo and Hanol could not talk while Jong-woo has to leave for a photograph to be put up on the clinic's website. After the photograph, the female employees gush over Jong-woo's appearance. One of them asks Jong-woo if he's in a relationship. Jong-woo remembers Hanol asking him to keep their relationship a secret, and so he lies about not having a girlfriend. Hanol had been watching this entire scene and gets hurt that he made himself appear available to other women. At lunch, the nurses are playfully asking the doctors to tell them if they need to get work done on their faces. Jong-woo repeatedly asserts that the nurses don't need to get work done, but he comically mentions that Hanol should get eyebrow fillers. Realizing he made a mistake, he tries to pacify her, but Hanol is already fuming. After lunch, while on their way back to the clinic, Hanol drags Jong-woo into a narrow alley and they discuss all the misunderstandings that have been piling up since the day before, but without any conclusive solution. While on their way back home, Jong-woo and Hanol board a bus. She thinks about letting the misunderstandings rest, but at that very moment, while she is about to sit on the only empty seat, the bus stops abruptly, sending Jong-woo tumbling towards the empty seat. Hanol further gets annoyed, thinking that Jong-woo is being competitive and intentionally took her seat. Back home, Hanol waits for Jong-woo's texts, but they never arrive. Bada reminds her about Wool-seon's birthday the next day, and they make a reservation at a hotel. Meanwhile, Jong-woo is unsure about sending Hanol a message. However, he recalls that Hanol mentioned that she needs time to recover after a heated argument, and so he ends up not sending the text. The next day, Wool-seon comes to the rooftop. She notices the broken plate from their house that Hanol was having the spring onion kimchi on and the same brand of bottle that she came back home with, claiming she went for a jog. She puts two and two together and realizes that the woman she saw with Jong-woo is, in fact, Hanol. Later, Wool-seon meets Jong-woo, who is leaving for work. He tries to avoid her, but she stops him and says that she knows the truth. Jong-woo, for Hanol's sake, emphasizes that it wasn't Hanol that day, but Wool-seon recognizes Hanol's phone number along with the nickname girlfriend on Jong-woo's phone. She asks him to grant her a wish for her birthday. In the afternoon, Hanol, Bada, and Wool-seon visit a fancy restaurant for her birthday lunch. Hanol is surprised to see Jong-woo come with a bouquet. He explains that Wool-seon chanced upon the truth. At that moment, Hanol declares that she is dating Jong-woo and asks her family to be considerate and nice to him. The Nam family joyfully accepts Jong-woo as part of the family. Hanol, then, takes Jong-woo near the lobby and they resolve their misunderstanding. At home, Dae-young's daughter loves the macarons that he got her, but Dae-young later finds that his daughter hurt herself with her old brassiere. Coincidentally, he meets Hong-ran in a convenience store and she helps him buy new undergarments for his daughter. They bond while on this mission. Back home, Jong-woo and Hanol talk about their families. Hanol confesses that she saw Jong-woo's mother once and understood the kind of person she was. They go for a walk and Jong-woo tells her about his family. His parents are cardiothoracic surgeons. His father is a professor at a medical school in the U.S. He recently became the first Asian chair of the American Heart Association. His mother is a researcher at his father's school. Jong-woo further confesses that his parents couldn't understand why he chose plastic surgery over their specialization. He says that his parents' love is something he can never receive. Jong-woo tells Hanol about Min Kyung-min and about his suspicion that Kyung-min once spiked his drink in college. We don't really know the reason yet. The scene changes and Kyung-min is, now, a director at his fiancée's company. Hanol's professor visits him and they strike a deal for medicines to be delivered to the hospital from his company. Hanol visits the mental health clinic and she has improved significantly. They decide to lower her dosage. The doctor tells her about self-esteem and how it is like pebbles. It builds from little things that a person stacks up over time. Jong-woo and Hanol, after completing their day's surgery, decide to go to the bar. We see a flashback of Kyung-min spiking Jong-woo's drink and the episode ends with a foreshadowing that something wicked is yet to come. The episode review. In this episode, we see Jong-woo and Hanol's adorable relationship. Much of the episode focuses on this particular aspect, which is an absolute treat to watch. The comic sequences are enjoyable and win a chuckle here and there. However, from a plot perspective, the show appears to have come to a standstill in this episode. Reusing Kyung-min as a villain might give it a reason to move forward, but that is about it. It doesn't ignite any curiosity in the viewers. But of course, there is still hope, and so we will see you in our next recap.